Hello, 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 and welcome to the Core Dog Experience, where I talk Ohio State Buckeyes. So if you're liking this segment, please hit the like button. And if you enjoy Buckeye content in general, please subscribe. Help a brother build this thing out. Still building it, still growing, still growing. So again, thanks to all the recent subscriptions. Really do appreciate it. Still trying to get there. Still trying to do my thing and work it and build it up, build it up. So keep them coming, keep them coming. Much appreciated, much appreciate it. So spring game still a couple months away. Still a couple months away. We getting there. So we on countdown, but we be here before we know it. But still a few weeks to go before the spring game. But in the meantime, just some basketball to talk about. Some basketball to talk about. Our ladies got off to that tremendous start at the beginning of the basketball year, 19-0. Sort of slipped up some. I think the injuries caught up to them, having J.C. Sheldon out, having Madison Green out, and then Rebecca was out for a couple games. So they took a little dip. They took a little dip. I think they lost like 5 games since then. But the last couple games, despite the loss to Maryland, they came up short against Maryland the other day. But I think they got a little bit of that mojo back that they had, that they were enjoying at the beginning of the year. They're going to get that double bye in the Big Ten tournament. I think they're finished. I think they're going to finish 4th, courtesy of their sweeping of Michigan a couple games ago. They went up to Ann Arbor, secured the 4th place finish. And then again, we came up short just the other day against Maryland. Good effort by our ladies, but I do think they got some of that mojo back, and I wouldn't be a bit surprised if they win the Big Ten tournament. I wouldn't be surprised if they won it at all, because they're that good. They're that talented. I think they're that good. I think they got some of their mojo back. Cody got some of her legs back under. I think I think they're ready to close it out and have a good Big Ten tournament, which should carry them well into the March Madness. So we'll see how that goes. Keeping my eyes on the Big Ten tournament for the ladies. I think they got a lot of season left ahead of them. The men, on the other hand, this season got away from them, and it got away from them real quick. I don't know. I don't know. I thought the Northwestern loss was bad a few weeks ago, but Northwestern turns out they're a pretty good team. Northwestern turned out to be a pretty good team, and I still missed that long losing streak. I said we'll get the shit right. We're going. Penn State's coming to town. Ain't no way in the world Penn State gonna beat us. Penn State beat us. So I don't know. It's a young team, a lot of transfers. We had 4 returning players, I believe, and a lot of those dudes were out last year. I mean, Sewing didn't play last year. Brown didn't play last year. The only key contributor we had coming back that played consistently last year was Zed Key, and lo and behold, Zed Key got hurt in that Purdue game, which we were winning, ended up losing, and now they shut Zed Key down for the year. So this was just one of those years for Chris Holtman and the Buckeye team. Hopefully all the freshmen come back with sour taste in their mouths and want to do something to show they weren't this bad. I know he has a good team coming in, good freshman class coming in next year, so we'll see. But tournament wise, like I mentioned my last time out, they're not making March Madness. They're gonna be mad about March, but we ain't making March Madness. I don't even think we're gonna make the NIT. I really don't. I don't know what the criteria is for an NIT, but losing on the type of streak they losing in, would the NIT even win us at this time? Other than the fact that we're a Power 5 school and we're a name brand, I don't know if the NIT is going to come calling. And what's the other? The CBI? I don't know no Power 5 conference. I don't care how bad you are, going to go to the CBI tournament. You got paid to play in that one. You can come to this tournament, but you got to pay an entry fee. Ain't no Power 5 conference about to pay no entry fee for no postseason tournament. So our men are probably pretty much done for this year. Probably going to be an early exit out of the Big Ten tournament, and they're going to get ready for next year. Our ladies, they got a chance to do something both in the Big Ten tournament and March Madness. Before I move on from the ladies, and I talked about the injuries to J.C. Sheldon, talked about the injuries to Madison Green. At this point, would it be wise just to shut J.C. down? I don't know how the medical red shirt works, but to me, she'd be eligible for a medical red shirt. I haven't looked into all the criteria yet. Just red shirt, give her a medical red shirt for the year, have her come back next year. Madison Green back next year. They'll have a good core coming back next year. If they're able to do that, if not, if JC has to move on, so be it. But I do believe they can get Madison Green back. But if JC Sheldon's able to come back and they just throw that medical red shirt on her, don't even try. Just shut her down for the rest of the year. I didn't know her injury was that bad. I just didn't know because they don't share injury details at Ohio State, so we just don't know how bad her injury was. But it had to be something for her not to be able to play virtually all year. Medical redshirter, bring her back, and look at the core you're going to have back next year. We're a guard-driven team, as it is on our lady side. J.C. Sheldon back, healthy. If you can get Madison Green back, healthy. Ricky Harris has played her butt off. That's a good, solid core in the backcourt. Cody McMahon, hands down to me, freshman of the year in the conference. And then Taylor Theory. You got that nucleus back at your starting five, and then you got Emma Shoemate back. They got another prolific scorer. They just haven't been able to get off the bench. And Kaya Henderson, I think she tore it up in high school as well. They got some pieces coming back. They got a good freshman class coming in. They are going to have to replace Rebecca Miklasova. And Kevin McGovern, that's one thing he's been able to do is to get players through the transfer portal, especially bigs. Throughout his career here at Ohio State, he's been able to bring in bigs in the transfer portal. So hopefully he can do that, get a big to come in and fill in for Rebecca. And we're going to have a good, solid team next year. So if it is at all possible, redshirt J.C. Sheldon, give her a medical redshirt, and hopefully she has some eligibility left. She can come back next year, and Ohio State's going to be one of the top teams again next year. See, I told you, I watched the women's team. I watched some other sports besides football. I watched some other stuff besides football. If I'm able to do that, that's what I'm doing for the women's team. J.C., you're done for the year. We're going to medical redshirt you, bring you back next year. And we have a solid core next year, and we will be good to go next year, and another potential Final Four team next year, moving forward into March Madness. And even with JC out, I still think they're a potential Final Four team in this year's March Madness if the matchups are right. It has to be the right matchup. If they're able to get some of the right matchups, I still think the sky's the limit for this ladies team moving forward. So we'll see how that plays out. But if I'm able to, I'm medical redshirt and J.C. Sheldon and Madison Green, and hopefully they can come back next year, and hopefully they have a good run to close out the year and close out this Ohio State careers. Previously mentioned Rebecca Miklasova and Taylor Mitchell, who I think has a potential. I never even talked about Caitlin Clark, but Taylor Mitchell, she might not be the overall player Caitlin Clark is. But in terms of shooting, I think she has a chance to make it into the WNBA, because when you can shoot like her, I think her WNBA ceiling is even better than J.C. Sheldon's, because she shoots better than J.C. And talking about improving, Rebecca may have played herself into in WNBA roster spot. I have never seen any player improve more throughout their career, I think men or women's, than as much as Rebecca Miklasova has improved during her time here at Ohio State. If you've seen any of my previous stuff, you know how sad I was when Jorka Uhas went off to UConn, because I thought this was a bona fide Final Four team if she had stayed. But her leaving has let Rebecca blossom to the player she is, and I think she has a chance at a WNBA career. So we'll see how the rest of this season plays out. I still think they can win the Big Ten tournament, and I still think they can go deep into March Madness on the ladies' side. The men's side, chalk it up as learning experience. Hope we can get all our freshmen back. Is Bronny in the mix? If we can get Bronny James in the mix, he a definite one and done. But if he can come here for 1 year and do something and help Chris Holtman redeem himself, so I'll take Ronnie James for 1 year. If anything, we're gonna put butts in the seat. Why not? Why not? So we're gonna see how that plays out on the men's side. But they're in a next year mode because there ain't nothing happening this year on the men's side. The ladies got a chance to do some stuff. And because freshman of the years, before I get off of basketball, I do think we have the top two freshmen on the men's and women's side this year. I think it's hands down Cody McMahon's going to win it. I just don't see a challenge from any other freshman out there in the Big Ten that's going to challenge Cody McMahon. She's won the Freshman of the Week award 6 or 7 times, if not more. So I think it's hers hands down. And on the men's side, I think Bryce Sensabaugh, like I said, that's a player. That is a player. The team hasn't failed because of his play. He's been the one shining spot this whole year. Like I said, Roddy Gale's come on later on in the year, but Bryce Sensabaugh to me, if it's not him, the only other person I can see winning it is the freshman out of Indiana, Hood Safino. So I think it's going to come to one of those two for freshman of the year in the Big Ten. But I do think Bryce should get it, but Hood Safino might get it because Indiana's, they're just a flat out better team. So we'll see how that vote goes down the stretch here. Okay, that's basketball. I had to throw some other stuff in there besides football, y'all. Come on now. There's more stuff going on at Ohio State other than football. But the spring game is coming. It's coming. And a couple battles we want to see. We want to see how it's going to play out. We all know the big one. I think not only at Ohio State, but just the college world in general wants to see who's going to win that quarterback starting job. My money's on Kyle McCord. He's been here. He's been in the system. He's been loyal. I know you don't want to grant stuff on loyalty, but it ain't like he's not good. He's a 5-star prospect. 5-star prospect. Played with Marvin Harrison, though that's a plus in high school. So they already got that natural chemistry, you would hope. I do think it's his to lose, even though Brian Dater saying all the right stuff. It's an open competition, and you want the best quarterback. At the end of the day, you want the best quarterback to win, to get the job. And but my money's still on Kyle McCord. Like I said a few seconds ago, you already got the camps. You got the Kyle McCord folks who's backing him basically for some of the stuff I said. We seen him in the start, even though it was against I think Akron. I forgot who he started against, but he looked good in that game despite the competition. He looked good. He throws a beautiful ball. He's accurate. He does everything you want out of a quarterback. Then you got the Devin Brown folks. Devin Brown's good. He's more mobile. That's the thing. That's what's driving the Devin Brown folks. He's more mobile. And that comes up a lot because C.J. Stroud, he was a mobile quarterback. He just chose not to run. Only 2 games he ran this year was Northwestern because he had to. He put the team on his back in that Northwestern game. And then, of course, he showed out against Georgia. He had the best game of his life against Georgia. But he did that because he showed the willingness to run the ball, which Devin Brown is more natural at doing. So you got that camp. You got the camp behind Devin Brown because he's the more mobile quarterback. He's more willing to run. I'm not sure if he's as accurate as Kyle McCord is, or if he knows the playbook as much as Kyle McCord does. But you got the camp, Devin Brown camp. You got the Kyle McCord camp. I'm team Kyle McCord for right now because I think he's been here, and I think in this age of the transfer portal, there's something for being loyal, especially if you're a 5-star quarterback, because those are the ones who transfer like that. Don't take nothing for a 5-star quarterback to transfer. But he waited patiently for his turn, and now it's his turn. It's his. I think it's his job to lose. I think Devin's really have to show out to take that spot from Kyle McCord. So we're gonna see how that plays out amongst our backs. So something I started last time out, and so we're talking backup quarterbacks here. So something I started my last segment was a quick pick. I want some commentary back from the fans. Some quick pick, just some comments on who you would choose on who I'm providing to you. There's always more out there, more selections, more stuff. But my quick pick is my two things going this forward, and I just want to comment. So, being the spirit that of upcoming spring game, it's going to be the battle of the backup quarterbacks, the C.J. Stroud. So, battle of the backup quarterbacks. Quick pick. You make the call. Who you got? My first selection, smooth operator, Kenny G. I believe it was 2012. Kenny G had to come in off the bench, and this is off the bench. They had to come in off the bench. They didn't start the game. They had to come in off the bench. Okay, this is the criteria for this particular selection. Smooth Kenny G. Smooth operator Kenny G. had to come off the bench against Purdue. I believe it was 2012, somewhere in there. Braxton Miller was the starter. That's the game. We were trailing pretty much the whole game. Braxton Miller, who started, I think he got banged out on a run. He'd run the ball. The guy, it was a horse collar. I don't think they called it, but he got banged down, got tackled from behind. His head hit the turf. He was done for the rest of the game. I think Kenny G had to come in. I think either the late third quarter, early fourth quarter. We were down by 8 points. Smooth operator Kenny G came in and did his thing. Let's take a look.
First and goal, Guyton throwing for the end zone. He's caught for a touchdown by Chris Fields. Guyton on the rollout. Looking back the other way. Guyton to the end zone.
All right. Smooth operator Kenny G down by 8 points. He had to come in off the bench for Braxton Miller. Had to lead that fourth quarter drive against Purdue. Goes down there, scored a touchdown. Scores the 2-point conversion. Ohio State goes on to win in overtime. That's pick number one. That's option number one. Second option is my man, rest in peace, Dwayne Haskins, up in Ann Arbor. We know the situation. JT Perry that banged up his leg at the beginning, that crazy, whatever happened at the beginning of the game. Before the game even started, the guy ran into him for a cart or whatever it was, jacked up JT Barrett's knee, jacked it up. JT couldn't finish the game. Michigan had the lead. In comes Dwayne Haskins. He leads. Dwayne Haskins comes in and he does his thing. Let's take a quick look at what Mr. Haskins did up in Ann Arbor.
Haskins delivers, and what a catch and what a throw from Dwayne Haskins. This is his skill set. The coaching staff trusted him. Kittle came across.
Boom. I dubbed it the throw. The throw to Austin Mack led the fourth quarter comeback. We go on to beat Michigan up in Ann Arbor. The throw. I call it the throw. And I talked about this in the previous thing a while back. So if y'all saw that one, y'all know how much. Y'all know what I thought about that throw and what it ultimately led to. Because you know who else was on the roster at that time? Joe Burrow. Urban Meyer went with Dwayne Haskins. Dwayne Haskins came in, led that fourth quarter comeback against Michigan. And the throw, I said it then, I'll say it now, and I'll say it in the future. That was the throw that sent Joe Burrow to LSU. End of story. There wasn't going to be no quarterback competition the following spring because there ain't nothing Joe Burrow could have done to overdo what Dwayne Haskins did in that Michigan game up in Ann Arbor. He saw the writing on the wall. He took his ball and went to LSU. Now, for all you that revisionist history, their first year starting, Dwayne Haskins at Ohio State his first year starting, and Joe Burrow's first year at LSU, Dwayne Haskins was better. He was better, simple. He was better. He had better numbers, better stats, period. Joe Burrow, his first year starting at LSU, was all right. He didn't blossom until the next year when they had a phenomenal team. And then, we had Justin Fields, and their stats were pretty much identical. And we got cheated out of seeing Justin Fields go against Joe Burrow because, well, we know why. That Clemson game, we know why Justin Fields and Ohio State got cheated in that game. Almost as bad as the Georgia game this past championship playoff. But those are your two selections. comeback king off the bench. That's the criteria. They had to come off the bench to lead their teams to win. Kenny G versus Purdue when Braxton Miller went down, or Dwayne Haskins off the bench when JT Barrett went down. So just make your picks in the comments below, and just your quick reasoning on why, and I will touch back before the end of this one to say who my selection was. So that's my quick pick. Quick pick number 3, I think it was. Yeah, this is my quick pick number 3. Battle of the backup quarterbacks. Who you got best performance coming off the bench? There. So take time, make some comments, and we'll touch back on it. Okay. Like I said, spring games coming. Before I talk more about the spring game, I just want to bring up some of our standouts in the pro football world. So they handed out some of their awards. I think one of the Bosas got Defensive Player of the Year, and lo and behold, one of our receivers. Yeah, we are right receiver. Garrett Wilson. Now, Chris Olave was in the mix, I'm pretty sure, but Garrett Wilson won Rookie of the Year. He put up the numbers, and that's testament to Brian Hartline to have 2 of your receivers do and perform the way they did their rookie years. And that's why we get the receivers coming here that we get. And I wanted to bring that up because a lot of the flack we got regarding our recruiting class, it was a top 5 class, but you got that yeah but crowd. I talked about the yeah but crowd. We had that yeah but crowd. We're complaining that it was top heavy with receivers because our receivers are all 4 or 5-star recruits. Brandon Ennis, Carnell Tate. They're all receivers. We need other folks. But I just wanted to bring this out because do you know who we're losing at the receiver spot after this year? Marvin Harrison's gone. Emeka Ibuka's going to be gone. Julian Fleming's going to be gone. We're losing 3 receivers. So this class we got coming in, this class we brought in last year, you're going to be happy we got a full wide receiver room because it only takes a couple injury, a couple things that happen to your roster for it become a weakness where it was once a strength. Just look what happened at running back last year. Evan Pryor went down before the season started. All right, we're fine. We got Trevion Amayan back. Trevion wasn't good all year. Mayan wasn't good all year. We were down to walk-ons. Converting folks over from defense. So you're going to be happy we got a full receiver room and stop complaining. You can't be, when you get, you can't, just stop with complaining. You're going to be happy we got a full receiver room coming in, and we're getting those folks to commit to Ohio State. Because we're going to be losing a whole lot at the receiver position. And better hope none of them transfer. Because then it's going to be a weakness again. And, we'll just on that ever-going cycle. So, yeah, we had a lot of receivers coming in. But we're getting ready to lose a lot of receivers. So you're going to be happy at the end of the day we recruited the receiver position the way we do. I just want to throw that out there. Just want to throw it out there. That's, again, just Garrett Wilson on winning it just highlights how deep we are at the right receiver position. And I say going into this year, Marvin and Emeka, they're listed as 2 of the top receivers in college football. And we're going to miss them after they leave. So you're going to be happy we got a sock full room of 5-star receivers, period, there. A point of contention, that is another competition that we're going to be looking at not more so, but just as much as our quarterback is going to be the DB competition. But that was the most glaring weakness on our defense. Denzel Burke, to some people, may have regressed some from his freshman year. It is what it is. He may have regressed, and we got some work to do defensively. Folks were mad we weren't bringing anyone in via the transfer portal, but lo and behold, we got a 2-year starter transferring in from Ole Miss. Davison, I'm not going to try his last name. Y'all know how I do with last names. But he's projected to come in, and it's an open competition, but my money, despite some of his bad play, you want to point out too, I still think it's going to be Denzel Burke and the Davison kid out of Ole Miss are going to be your starters. And we still got Jordan Hancock, Jair Brown, J.K. We still got a deep. We got a lot of bodies to put it there and try it out there and see who's going to lock it down. And I just read something recently that the new type of corner we're going to be recruiting are your press style corners. So if that comes to fruition, we'll see how that plays out, if those are the type of corners we're going to get moving forward, because that's where we are lacking our press coverage and just our guys, just other receivers just being too wide open. I don't know if that's scheme versus talent. I don't know. We don't have the talent to run the scheme. The defensive wants to run. That Jim Knowles wants to run. So we'll see. Right? So we'll see. It's going to be year 2 in Jim Knowles' defense. We're going to see how he's going to utilize the corners moving forward. And can't talk about the corners and the DB play without just at least acknowledging the recent developments in the world of the legal world involving Amir Reed and Jason Went. They were both found not guilty of the charges that were presented against them. And I think that's important to note, because after Okudah and after Ward, these were your folks that were going to be filling in. This is why our defensive backfield took a hit. That was our time. That was our coming back experience right there. It was Amir Reed, and he was good. I think I think his loss was felt more than what Jason Went's loss would have been, because Amir was a corner, I believe, and he was good. But it was good to see it played out the way it did, that they're not guilty. It's just unfortunate for all involved that it had happened in the first place. But the charges were dropped, so hopefully these young men can go on and pursue. With all the other opportunities out there in the pro football world now, if they have a desire to get back into pro football, XFL, USFL, there's plenty of pro leagues out there now that they can try to get back to, if that's what they want to do. But I do think it's important to just acknowledge that that's maybe why some of our DB play has not been up to par lately, because these were the two folks that were set to step in once Okudah and Denzel Ward left. So there was a gap. And you had to fill that gap in with inexperienced freshmen, and we still haven't caught up to that yet. So hopefully we're starting to get there, and we'll see a lot more better, improved play heading into 2023. Like I said, the spring game still a few months away, and in the meantime, there are other sports going on. The Olympic sports, which is a better term than the non-revenue sports. Olympic sports, I like that. That sounds better than saying the non-revenue sports. Just the Olympic sports. It's good. And we're doing good in all these Olympic sports. So now a lot of folks don't want to give Gene Smith credit, but Ohio State, as I pointed out previously, is good across the board in several Olympic sports, and just sports in general, or sports programs in general have flourished under Gene Smith. Whether you want to give him the credit for it or not, they flourished under him. Just want to highlight a couple of the programs. The women's hockey team, they're coming off the NCAA championship last year. They're in position to do it again this year. They just won the conference title for the first time this year, so hopefully that'll parlay into a repeat on the national championship level. Our women's swim and dive team, they are becoming the Penn State, because Penn State's tearing it up in wrestling. Nobody can touch Penn State. But our women's swim and dive team, they're like the Penn State of the pool. No one can touch them. Our 4th straight Big 10 championship in women's swim and diving, so hats off to them. Hopefully in the NCAA championships, they'll be able to do well there. And then just men's wrestling, they're getting set for the Big 10 tournament. Again, hopefully they can do well. Hopefully they can get second place. Because just like no one beat Penn State. I don't know what happened. Iowa used to dominate, but Penn State just came along and just snatched that, and no one can take it from them. So, but hopefully our men's wrestling team. I know I like Sammy Sasso, so hopefully I watch a little bit. I watch some of the other stuff, y'all. I watch some of the other stuff, and I like Sammy Sasso. But our men's wrestling team, hopefully they can get a second place, because they ain't beating Penn State. I concede that we ain't beating Penn State. And then just throw it out there, another top 10 team that's coming off a shutout win. Pin it up here because it's shutout. Anytime you shut out Notre Dame, I don't care what sport it is. We shut out Notre Dame, so hands off to our men's tennis team. top 5 teams. So again, across the board in the Olympic sports, our teams are doing well. So hats off to all our other sports programs out there, and just keep up the good work. And again, moving forward, the big sport is basketball. Again, our men's team, you pray they can get one win. I just, they getting ready for next year. Our women's team, if you haven't watched them, take a chance out. Get the opportunity to watch them, see how they do in the Big 10 tournament. Follow them in the March Madness tournament, and we'll just see how they do. If you listen to me, Kevin McGuff, you got a chance to redshirt J.C. Sheldon, redshirt her, medical redshirt, bring her back and do it again. You have a good core coming back, and see what our ladies can do then. But other than that, again, I hope you like this segment. Hit the like button. Comment on my quick pick. Quick pick number 3. Who you got? Smooth operator Kenny G coming off the bench to lead the comeback against Purdue. Or you got my man, Dwayne Haskins, rest in peace, coming off the bench up in Ann Arbor to beat Michigan on the comeback. And preserved, I know a lot of people don't want to give JT Barrett credit for it, but he preserved JT Barrett's undefeated record against Michigan. So you got that going for him too. And for that reason, now you gotta go with Dwayne Haskins. You gotta go with Dwayne Haskins. First of all, it's Michigan. Secondly, it was up in Ann Arbor. And thirdly, the throw. I don't know if I've seen a better throw, college or pro. That throw was just on point. He threaded the needle, and Austin Mack came down with it, and we needed it. It was 3rd and long. He don't make that throw, we probably lose that game then. Preserve the streak. There's a lot of things went on with that Michigan win. The Kenny Guy win was good, coming back, but it's just the significance, it was probably going to be one-sided in any way. But Kenny G, that was a good comeback win for Kenny G. But you got to go with Dwayne Haskins up in Ann Arbor. That was the throw that sent Joe Burrow to LSU, and I stand by it. But other than that, so that's it. So interested on what your pick is and the reason why. If there's any other quick picks you want me to do, any other things, remember, just keep it at 2. Keep it at 2, and we'll do it at a future on a future outing. But for now, again, if you're liking this segment, hit the like button. If you enjoy Buckeye content in general, please subscribe. And help me grow this thing out. And again, I appreciate all the recent subscriptions. I love it. So until next time, go Bucks. OHIO. I'm out.